Hey guys, it's Juan. Today I'm going to be doing a video article on Nuke. This is going to be about taking ramp, because I think it's a big part of your team's success on T side. And I've had a lot of commentaries on holding ramp because that's the spot that I've played over the years. And having played that spot a lot, I've learned a lot about what kind of ramp takes work well against me. Me being a rifler, and occasionally, you know, I'll switch it up and have someone op here for me, and I'll play with them. And so I've learned a lot about what works well at ramp, and what obviously doesn't. So I saw that the other reason I'm doing this is because I saw that the first CEVO playoff map is Nuke. So I hope for those of you that are in playoffs that this is beneficial for you or setting up your T side. So first off, starting out, I wanna kind of talk about. I would say there's four good ways to take ramp, and it's all dependent on the type of team that you're playing, what kind of gun they're using there, how aggressive they are. So I'm going to talk about those four ways to take ramp, and then I'm going to talk about once you're in ramp. You really haven't accomplished much yet. You still have to do something from when you get to this point. Because you know you're not at a bomb site, so you need to make a move here. But having control of this ramp area and being able to get kills on the ramp player here gives you a lot of flexibility to win the round. Now I've talked about this in some commentaries before, but I haven't really gotten a chance to go in depth. So yeah, let's get started here. The first way to take Nuke is going to be basically to take ramp is going to be pretty much a full rush. Now I like to full rush ramp occasionally when let me bind a key here, sorry. When I have a really good spawn, now I think something like this looks like the best spawn. Okay, occasionally I'll try upper rushes with this spawn. It's really, you know, if our upper rush isn't working, I like to try ramp rushes. But yeah, I mean, I only really like rushing ramp a lot when I have a very good spawn or if I know they have a bad spawn. And it's very simple. What I like to do here, if I'm the lead guy, is I usually just come out, and unless they're bunny hoppers, you should beat them before they get there. And then what I do is I throw that flash deep, so that they, you know, if they jump down and they're about to like peek this, that'll get them. Maybe I threw it a little too far, but you kind of get the point over that box. And then I get really close to the wall here. You'll see like my screen gets really dark. That way, if they throw a flash in here, my face, you know, my face against the wall, and I only get a flicker. Okay, so by the time I pop out here, and I don't really flash this right side. First of all, because I don't think it's too common to play there early in the round. I mean, people do occasionally, but I mean, I think at best this guy will probably get a kill if they do play there. I mean, that's pretty much the first spot I always check anyhow. So I go really tight against the wall to minimize any flash, and then I just quick check right, and then I come out here. Okay, that's if I'm the lead man, that's how I like to swing out. And I like to get out of the way of, like, if an opper's right here, I only like to give him one shot at me. And I mean, this usually isn't a good idea if there is an opper there. You know, you have to either hit a really nice shot or hope he misses. You know, if there's an opper there. So you know, if they play that, and that's what I recommend doing as CT side, is playing an opper here as your rotator early in the round. And if they do that, I wouldn't recommend rushing ramp. And in fact, in most cases, when they do play dedicated to ramp, I wouldn't recommend taking ramp a whole lot anyhow. But if they play kind of like a rotator style, there's ways you can work around that. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the rush. You know, it doesn't really matter so much what these other guys do in back. So they probably want to turn their backs just the same until when they get out. You might want to have one guy just sit right here, block flashes right here, so you can get them in trade if this guy flashes and then peeks in here. But other than that, I mean, it's a pretty simple rush. Just get out, and that's one way to take it. But that's only you know, if they're playing light there early, if their pre-flashes are bad, or if you have a good spawn. So the next way to take it is basically is kind of like a sneaky walk take, basically. Now I do this a lot against players that have either they don't spot it well, or you know, if they're not very aggressive. Okay, so you know, when I play ramp, I like to spot this pretty actively. But if you're playing against a team that plays like, you know, right here, I mean, and this isn't too uncommon. Oh, I watched Pex's demo, and he rebinded all my keys when I watched his demo, so my spacebar was voiced there. But anyhow, so yeah, back to that point. If they don't have very good spotting abilities here, a walk take is a good way to do it, because you're gonna get up really close on them, and if you have a second guy there, you know they're not gonna have a whole lot of time to react and counter flash and whatever. So against a team with poor spotting at ramp, you want to try this walk take, and basically what you're doing is just I like to clear corners by like doing quick peeks like this, and you'll see Noit does this, and I kind of got this from him. Just quick peek this, okay, and quick clear corners, and then go to the next corner, okay. And so you know I'm gonna quick clear this corner, quick clear this corner. You see I just peek like, you know, just an inch, you know, just to see if he's there, and then the next peek is to kill him. The first peek isn't to kill him. Okay, I'm just trying to see if he's there. And you know, I notice I don't go very far in my strafes. I just go really quickly so I don't make noise. Okay, and sometimes I like, this is something I started doing. I started doing crouch peeks because I don't know, people don't expect you to be at that height, and you're not at their headshot level you're aiming at. So you know, feel free to crouch peek corners once in a while, and I think that's a good mix-up to your play if people are getting used to it. So again, you know, quick peeking these corners, and then I'll walk to this next corner, and I'll quick peek this, and you know, basically I just do this, and maybe I'll have one guy, you know, maybe an angle. I always have one guy behind me because I don't want to be really bunched up with him here, because in case a flash comes, I don't want to be vulnerable for us both getting flash. I want one guy to cover me, so I always have a guy stay one corner behind me. Okay, and he's gonna, you know, we're not gonna be in a great position to get a trade here, but usually you kind of have an advantage here. You know, when you quick peek these corners, you can get a lot of headshots by doing this, and then you'll surprise people and you'll catch them off guard. And by the time I get to this corner, you know, I quick peek this, whatever, and then usually I just pop out and just get out here. And you know, if they're playing this passive, that means they're either they're on an eco and they're like maybe camping behind this box or down here, or you know, really passive in the turnpike. But you know, once you get to that point, you can pretty much start running. You know, there's no point to walk anymore there. But yeah, I mean, so you go up here, whatever, you keep coming out. So that's the walk taking. And again, I like doing that against players that play very passive at ramp, or you know, if you own them at ramp several rounds in a row, they'll probably become even more passive, and that's a good time to do it. So yeah, that's one take. Next take is op pick, okay? And let me say this, I don't like trying to pick this with an op. Excuse me, let me grab an op. Well, I guess my button doesn't work. Anyhow, so I don't like trying to pick this op versus op. Because I think this guy has a lot of different angles he can play. He can play like right here, he can play just straight on the ramp, he can play on top of this box. I don't like just going op versus op, okay? I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but when there's an opper here, I usually like to use nades and stuff. I don't like going gun to gun with him because there's so many different spots he can play. He has an advantage on you. I mean, he can play spots where, you know, it's so hard to hit that op shot, that headshot on this guy right here. I mean, you'll do it on occasion. Now, if you do try to do it, I wouldn't say just strafe out and peek here. You know, this is a good way to die, is just strafe out. That guy's gonna kill you 9 times out of 10. Okay, good way to do it. Now, this is somewhat risky, and I wouldn't do this against aggressive teams that push a lot. But what I used to do is I used to have Nick Noit jump on my head right here, and I'd be standing right here. He'd jump on my head, he'd jump across, and then he'd peek from this side. Okay, so you can imagine this guy's point of view right here. He's scoping in, you know, on this right side here, and all of a sudden, you know, he's seeing absolutely nothing yet, and then all of a sudden, this guy strafes out from, you know, this other side and picks them. You know, he doesn't see it coming. So, you know, that's one way to do it. But other than that, I don't like taking a whole lot of op picks. You know, if I do it, that's probably the only way. Okay. So, but it works really well against riflers, and that's one of the problems I had holding ramp, because I always rifled this, and you know, I was pretty good about avoiding shots. And when there was an opper, usually what I would do is, if I was rifling here, I see an opper, I immediately get out of. Great, I don't have a smoke bind. Oh, now I do. Okay. I immediately get out the way and smoke it, and so that he doesn't get a free shot on me. And so, and then usually, you know, maybe I'll switch it up an angle a little bit. But I don't like, if I'm a rifler there, I don't like to see an opper picking down here. So yeah, I mean, if they're rifling ramp, peeking aggressively, that's a good way. Just be patient here. The only thing is here is, again, you want to have a guy one corner behind you. Usually what I used to do here, if Nick Noit was picking a rifler, you know, into the ramp, I would have like Paradox or something right here, or me or Griff or whatever, just primed with a flash, just in case if Nick gets blind, he's very vulnerable. Okay, so in fact, what we used to do on CT side is I'd have a guy right here flash for me, and then I'd be right here, he'd flash, and as soon as it popped out, it'd be right up here, and I'd kill that opper. Okay, so a good way to prevent that is just have your you know, your teammate here just counter flash as soon as Nick says he's blind or your opper says he's blind here. You know, he drops this corner, you counter flash. Okay, that way that stops any kind of push that comes. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you always want to be covering anyone that's trying to solo pick that, like on the slow take or the op pick. Okay. So yeah, again, I said, I mean, those are two good ways to take it against riflers, slow takes and op picks. Against oppers, you're gonna want to use smokes. Okay, so, and this gets tricky when they have an opper and a rifler. But so let's say this guy's here, you definitely want to be using smokes. I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay, so bring out my smoke. Usually, you gotta wait for this. Make sure you wait for this because he can see your feet for like the first like 6 seconds that's blooming. Okay, but once that's up, you know, you can get in it. Usually I come out here and then I get into a safe spot and then I just flash deep and then I quick peek this corner on Turnpike. You can see through this smoke pretty well. Looking at Turnpike, and then I get up and then I pop out on this opper. Okay, and that's good against an opper who doesn't really defend or I guess fight back at you with smokes and flashes. Okay, but if he is fighting back at you with smokes and flashes, you need to kind of layer your nades. Okay, a good opper will smoke into it, or any good team. Maybe there's a rifler here. If you smoke right here, they're gonna smoke into it. Okay, as they should. And that pretty much disables you. Okay, because you're gonna be a sitting duck here. They're gonna be able to see you in 2 smokes, and you're not gonna be able to see them. Okay, so what you need to do is just wait it out. I mean, it's not CGS rules anymore. You got 2 minutes of time to work, okay? So you just wait it out. Wait for both smokes to fade, and then have your next teammate. They're going to be out of smokes, or they might have 1 left, but have your next teammate say, okay, smoke ramp, okay? And then at that time is when you should go. Okay, so you only want to be going when that single smoke. Yeah, I mean, this works well against oppers at Turnpike too. I mean, you can get a pretty good shot at them, and they, you know, I guess that smoke. See, I mean, look how dark that smoke is, and they can't really see you, and you can see them. So, you know, having that smoke at the entrance is a pretty big advantage for you. Okay, so you know, make sure you're doing that. I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about the nade take. But again, if they're a very aggressive team too, you just want to layer your flashes. So, you know, sometimes you may want to throw a smoke just to draw their flashes. I mean, that's good practice. So if you throw that smoke down here, you know, and they're gonna, you know, layer their flashes at you while that smoke is up, just, you know, wait it out. Okay, you just wait it out and throw another smoke in 25 seconds or so when they're out of flashbangs, right? Just be aware of, you know, this is something I should mention, is bunny hoppers. You know, these days people can get up this ramp really quickly. So again, quick peek these corners, even very early in the round. You know, it's not gonna harm you to, you know, quick check that corner, quick check that corner. Okay, get out. You know, make sure you usually can listen for this. I mean, you can usually tell that there. But you know, once you get to this point, you need to start being more careful. Okay, you know, sometimes people are here, so. I mean, yeah, just be careful of that, of people being very aggressive, and that's become more and more common these days. Okay, so that's pretty much the 4 different ways. You know, let me just recap: full rush with good spawns, or against people that only play 1 in ramp early, or against people that don't pre-flash well. Slow take against people that don't have good spotting if they don't spot down into the ramp. Op pick against riflers that are spotting into the ramp, and smoke take against oppers. Okay, and again, if they're playing too dedicated the entire round at ramp, you know, don't bother. They're gonna be light somewhere else on the map. So try taking, you know, maybe have one guy just put pressure here, keep those 2 guys, and take up or take outside. You know, they're gonna be light elsewhere. It's hard to hold upper with just 2 guys. So always keep that in mind, and always try to have a good idea of how they're playing ramp. So once you are in the ramp, again, you haven't really accomplished anything yet. Maybe you got a kill or something. Maybe you got a 4 vs 5, or maybe it's even a 4 vs 4 or 4 vs 3. You're at disadvantage, whatever. You know, you're on the ramp. What do you do? So you have 3 options now. You can go lower, you can go tower, or you can go back to lobby. And let me kind of explain which is which. Okay. So and when to do when. So first option is pretty much a tower take. Now I'd say this is the hardest of the 3, but in some situations when you have good support, or if you know they don't, if you know that someone just died in the tower, or if you know that they're not playing in the tower, this is probably the best option. Okay, once you get up in that tower, you pretty much have complete control of that upper site. Okay, so taking this, you know, the way we used to do it is we would almost always require support from outside. If you can have support from outside, it makes it a lot more difficult, because that means that they can't really be hiding, you know, in this area right here. This makes it more difficult because as you're peeking tower, you know, this guy can get a free shot in on you. So if you have outside support, if you have people in the warehouse area, I used to do a lot of 2-3, 3-2 splits, maybe 2 ramp, 3 outside, or 3 ramp, 2 outside. You know, if you're getting good picks in those areas, we pretty much just ran that strat over and over and over well, and it worked well. You know, if we were just, you know, getting picks and pushing them back and making it more passive. And if you can do that, keep doing that. And pinch these guys outside, take control of the tower, and then take upper from mini and tower, and that worked well. But again, taking tower almost always requires at least maybe 1 or 2 guys. With outside presence. If you don't have outside presence, I wouldn't suggest it, because there's going to be so much pressure on you from tower and from outside. Maybe even locker room, it's going to be difficult. But so let's say you do have outside presence and you have it locked down. You know that they can't be in this area. The way that we used to do this is we used to pretty much double peek this. I don't like solo peeking it, but we used to have 2 guys run up, and we just jump and crouch right here, and we'd have 2 people jump at that same time. If the first guy dies, oh well, we get the trade, and make sure you kind of know these jumps. I'm not even that great at it, but you know, just jump and land and look up, okay? And if you have 2 guys doing it at the same time, you're gonna get the trade as long as you're not completely awful. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna get the trade, and then once you get the trade, get up tower, and you know, you got upper site, and you know, it's so hard for them to hold upper once you're on the tower. So like I said, that's a very good option if that's what you can do. Okay, so again, take tower if you have outside support, or if you know someone's dead at tower, or if they're not playing it. I mean, ideally nobody's in the tower and you just run straight up and you win the round. Okay, but that's not always the case. Okay. And one other thing I should mention, it's good to know a flash from underneath here, because sometimes they don't peek it all the time. Now, Bricks Unforbidden used to show me a really good flash, but I completely can't do it. That wasn't it. But it's good to know a flash. Maybe I need to run. That was even worse. Whatever. Learn a flash. Maybe I'm gonna try one more time. There we go. It was a smoke, but it worked. See, I mean, you gotta aim, I guess, pretty high. Let me try one more time. Yeah. See, look at that. I'm the best. I'm just kidding. No, but have a flash go up there, okay? And that'll own him, okay? So that's the tower take. You know, that works well when those conditions are happening. So the other option you can do, if you have a lot of guys in ramp, is if 3 or 4 guys here, and you guys all have your smokes left. Say you did a slow take or maybe an op pick or something, and you guys have your smokes left. Good way to take lower is just what I used to do is oh, by the way, I should mention, when you're in the ramp, I would, and you take ramp, I would almost always wait here. Don't take your time and make a decision after 20 or so seconds. Make the other team spread out and adjust, okay? Because let's say you take ramp and they see you all just jump over the rail and drop lower, they're still going to be able to rotate in time, okay? They're going to get the barrel door, they're going to get down the vent. So there's absolutely no point in rushing down, okay? That's just rushing down is just a dead giveaway that you're going lower. Okay, so once you get in the ramp, make them think. Okay, don't let them know where you're going. Make them think and let their death cams fade away before you go anywhere. Okay, so make them spread out. You know, don't so that you guys can get trades on the people that are playing solo. Okay, because if you jump over this rail, they're gonna immediately send 2 or 3 guys lower, and they're gonna have you trapped. They're gonna be there before you. There's no point in rushing it. Okay. But if you wait, maybe they'll have like 2 upper, 2 lower. They're split in 2s, and you can isolate them much better if you just wait and make them separate. Okay. So yeah, about the lower take. When you do eventually take lower, again, you don't want to take it right away. But I've shown this before, but I like to use a lot of smokes on this. My button's not working, sorry, but what I used to do is we used to throw 3 smokes right here, okay, and we used to throw 2 towards there and 1 towards here. Now mine wasn't great. Mine could have been a little. My last one could have been a little further, but we basically smoke off the door, smoke off the control area, and then isolate the barrel door. Okay, so. And make sure you check this spot down here before you plant. I've lost matches because of that before, but you know, pushing the barrel. Usually flash through the glass works pretty well. Have, you know, 2 or 3 guys push into that barrel and just completely give up this side. Smoke them out. Just who cares about them? Okay. Push in the barrel, get the trade here, and get the safe plant down. And all your riflers do that, while usually I would just have like Noit right here, just post him on the vent. And he was usually pretty good at multitasking, though this is not easy. Is you know, maybe have him switch off between here and here. You know, that's not easy though. But you know, if you're confident in hitting your shot on the first shot, you know, whatever, just off straight into the vent. Maybe, you know, maybe this spot isn't too bad, or I don't know. But your opper needs to be watching the vent. That should be his job. If you don't have an opper, maybe have him watch from dark spot, or maybe just sit right here. But you know, you don't have to watch the vent the entire time. Just get the plant down, let the planter get in the safe spot, and have your barrel door guys just sit in the camp spot. So I mean, the lesson here is just isolate one side, use smokes, isolate this, push into the barrel, cover the vent, plant the bomb. Okay, it's so much easier to plant when you have that covered. Okay, because you know, it's just guys could be hiding in here. It takes so many guys to clear this whole area. Okay, because you're gonna jump in here, have a guy open this, and you know, guys can be camping right here while, you know, you're gonna be stuck in this window. This guy just has free shots on you, so it's so difficult to clear that. You know, don't do it that way. Just push the barrel. Barrel's an easy clear if you send 2 or 3 guys there. And then have them take control of the back hall from there. Okay, there's no reason to push to the other side. Just isolate one side with smokes, push to the other. Okay. Now, okay, I understand you're not always going to have smokes, and that's not always easy to take lower if you don't. Occasionally, what we did is just walk one side if we have enough time. Walk one side, and that worked occasionally because, you know, always walk this right side because you can get some shots on guys playing right here and here. You get you know, pretty good shots on them going there, and just walk towards the vent until you're spotted, and then maybe, you know, drop down here. That's another option, but that's not as good as the smoke option. If that's kind of a last resort, is just walk taking, because again, guys can just drop down vents and have free reign on you. So you're kind of taking a little bit of a risk there. So yeah, that's the lower take. Okay, use that if you have smokes. And again, take your time. Don't always just rush down. Never rush down, in fact. And the last option here, and I don't think people do this enough, but it's kind of counterintuitive. You just took ramp. Why would you know, not use it now? But and this is one thing that if you just take ramp and you know, you cleared everybody out, wait 5 seconds for their death cam, and then they're gonna panic. Maybe, you know, I just thought of this right now. This would be cool though. Maybe have one guy rush down and just Rambo out here, break the vents, throw your smoke, okay? And then have the rest of your team just walk back hut, okay? So just right after you take ramp, just you know, you gotta walk through this area first off, because you know, they can hear you. Second thing you have to worry about here is flankers. A lot of times when you take ramp, people will instinctively push the squeaky and push the hut. So you either need to be very careful about that when you're coming back, or you need to have a guy dedicated to pretty much watching that while you're taking ramp. Okay, you know, you can do that from like maybe in the hut, or maybe, you know, maybe like right here or something. I don't know, but he either needs to be watching, or you need to be very careful when you come back. But the thing is though, you have to do this quickly as you can while walking. So let's say you take ramp, death cam fades, you say, okay, go back, because they're not going to expect it this quick. So they're thinking you're still in ramp here, and especially if they're conditioned to you waiting in ramp and taking lower and taking tower, you know, walk back. And usually what I think works best is just busting out this hut right here, okay, with as many guys as possible. Because most of the time, the tower guy is worried about looking underneath him. Okay, that guy's not going to be worried about you hut. The guy you do have to be worried about is playing this spot. Okay, that guy will tear you up. But you know, that's kind of the risk you have to take. You're not always going to get optimal situations on T-side nuke. You just have to hope that they're not kind of playing counter to, like, you know, what will work. Okay. So I mean, if they're playing that spot a lot, don't do this. But you know, if you don't see them playing that, just walk out, walk to the hut. As soon as you get here, bust out with 3 or 4 guys. You know, just clear this out, plant the bomb, flash tower, get back in hut. You know, boom, round done. Okay. So that works really well if you can do it quickly and if you can lock down your flanks. Make sure that you don't get flanked from hut and whatever. And a lot of times I've come back here, people have been like hiding in this dark spot, or you know, someone's playing like an angle right here. So always be ready for that type of random play. And that's, you know, that's a good thing to do on CT side. But you know, be aware of that. Be ready for it. Okay. And as soon as you get to that corner, bust out. Okay. Quick look on this. Everybody out the hut. Okay. No reason to bring out Squeaky right here. You know, people were probably being like mini, and you got a better shot on them from coming out hut than you do from Squeaky. And sometimes you know, operators will be here. No reason to go out Squeaky, and Squeaky's just gonna make extra noise. Okay. So you know, at that point in the round, just bust out the hut. Tower's not gonna likely tower's not gonna be worried about you, and you know, you can just come out here. So yeah, I mean, those are the 3 options you guys have. Again, let me recap this. If you have support from outside, go tower. But again, if you know, if you have support from outside, you could also go hut and have those guys go mini. So you know, that's another option. Okay, so if you have good support from outside, nobody's playing tower, go up tower. That's a giveaway. Okay, if you have smokes, you know, lower is a good option. If you've been taking it, it's going to take a lot of smokes. It's going to take, you know, if you have a lot of your guys there, if you have 4 guys, lower is probably the best option. If you guys are a little bit split up, maybe if you have a guy mini, or if you have a guy watching hut flank, then and you only have 2 or 3 at ramp, then taking lower is probably not a good idea, because you're not going to be able to take it with only 2 or 3 guys. So they're going to have to come back and take out hut and meet up with the guys at mini, meet up with the guy who was waiting hut watching flanks. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. If you guys have any questions, always post them. And yeah, I hope this helps you out. Good luck, guys, in your playoff matches. Hope you win. See ya.